Scent Podcast.
Okay, we're live. This is Matthew from Scent, and I'm back with another special interview on the Spotlight. As anyone who's followed me on Scent knows, there's nothing more that I like more than an animation with the silky smooth loop. And the man that I'm about to speak with today, I came across his work on Scent just a few weeks ago when he hopped on, and right away his animation with amazing looping caught my eye. And then I found out that he's already been on Giphy, been viewed over 200 million times, has this huge following on Instagram, and his animations are just kind of perfect. So I knew that I needed to immediately reach out to him and try to talk about his work and his craft. So I'm very, very excited to have the chance to be able to speak with Edmotions today on the Spotlight. So welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing? Thanks. Right, yeah. Well, I actually started doing some film studies at the beginning and filming and lighting and things like that. I didn't actually went into animation until a few years ago when I was a bit lost, actually. I was trying to work in I don't know, in anything related to audio visuals and things like that, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. When I was a kid, I always drew a lot. I was doing comics all the time, but I kind of didn't draw for like 20 years or something. I didn't pay attention to that anymore. I started playing guitar and composing and writing music and that, and I forgot about drawing. But then I started like doing more VFX when I came back, because I went to England and I studied there film studies, then came back to Spain, and here I started doing VFX, and I had one subject in my master's that was After Effects, but that's what gives you it's more likely to get jobs from there. So I got into internship, started learning after, and I realized I was quite good at it. So I started liking it more and more and more. And then after 6 years working in a studio, I started my Instagram and got quite popular. I mean, I thought I never thought I was going to get to 1,000 followers. Now I have 12,000, and it's growing still. So, and about crypto art, I actually, thanks to Instagram, I was contacted by a person that it's in this world already. He asked me if I wanted to spur benefits from one of my arts in Super Rare, and I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. So he had to call me and explain everything to me. And yeah, I mean, I was amazed because I never thought people would pay for something that actually everybody has access to. Not in the same way, but like every time I tell about this to my friends, they're like, and people are going to actually pay for that? And I'm like, yeah, because actually this is unique, because nobody else has this unique piece or things like that, And then I came across Scent, which is it's different because you're not selling anything. It's just people giving you support on that. And I don't know, I really enjoy this because it's a way of doing what I want, not having to make changes that other people's mind invent. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I spoke too much. I'm sorry about that.
No, that was really fascinating. It's almost hard to believe that you hadn't really been doing anything in terms of like visual arts for a long time. You've been more on the music side. It sounds like until you went to like university or graduate school and you started studying VFX. So what is your inspiration? What does it look like when you have an idea for one of your animations that you end up looping? And then how do you go from that inspiration or that idea to the final product?
Well, I'm not sure if I have a way that always work. I don't know. I'm constantly thinking about things. Like my personality is really how I say. I'm joking all the time, and I'm thinking about something funny to say every time somebody says something. I think about the joke and that. So kind of take that to image, and I try to imagine like things that happen to me every day, or to me or to anybody, you know, and try to express that in a short animation. Sometimes they're too long, sometimes they're shorter. I rather make them less than 10 seconds, but not always. You know, you can't always express something with less than 10 seconds. So yeah, pretty much try to think about everyday things that happen to people. I'm a real fan of Seinfeld, who's that show is pretty much about everyday things, and I think that's what get people more involved in your stuff. You know, they say something they relate to, and they like it. So that's pretty much where I get my inspiration, and in the visuals and stuff like that. I'm from the 80s. I was born in 87, so I saw a lot of The Simpsons and a lot of Fresh Prince and things like that. So I guess my style comes from that, when in terms of coloring and humor and animation. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's perfect. Yeah, and then the Simpsons part, the kind of like 80s vibes, I can definitely see that in a lot of your work. Plus, you say simple, but I mean, there's a lot going on in many of your animations. I really like the bouncing one. Even going through your Instagram, I recognize like, oh man, I've seen these animations before I knew they were from you. So you're definitely you're doing something right to go viral and get shared like that. And it's really perfect.
No, I'm working on being everywhere. Actually, I'm trying to be everywhere because that's the best way for people to know. There's plenty of places in the internet where you can be right now, and the more presence you have, the more people get to know you. So yeah, I thought about Giphy because Giphy lets you get into Instagram really easy. Like people can just take your GIFs and reshare them. And I guess that's how I got to, I think, 200 million views of my, yeah, that's all I have in among with all the animations. But the most viewed one is, I think, is actually this is fun because actually I did that for a guy who asked me to make a video clip, you know, and it was just this loop again and again for 3 minutes or something like that. Then he didn't pay, so I didn't give him the animation. I kept it for me. And now it's got 30 million views, I think.
That's awesome. But not awesome that he didn't pay you, but awesome that it ended up racking up so many views. The next question I wanted to ask you is about your looping, because I feel like it's almost table stakes, but also the mark of like a really refined piece of animation today is the perfect loop, like the seamless transition. The animation keeps happening, and it's just like it's perfect. And I know that there's a process to making sure that something loops. I spoke with another creator. Her name is Lulu XXX, and she's a master of like hyper complicated looping motions and these. I love how hyper precise and mathematic she is about making the perfect loop. I'm wondering, for your looping process, like, how do you make sure that it loops perfectly? Like, how do you make sure that that comes across absolutely buttery smooth, like you've been able to do in everything that I've seen you create?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, every different animation has got a tricky loop, I think. Like, for example, some of them I'm not happy. I'm not gonna reveal some of them because maybe people didn't realize, and I don't want to. I don't want to say this is not well done. But sometimes it's really difficult. It depends. With After Effects, sometimes you've got some effects that just don't loop, like they're procedural things like that. They just don't loop, so you can't just do it. So sometimes you have to use some tricks like fading, starting. Like, you make the animation, but then you start it from the middle. You when you render, you don't render from the beginning. You render from the middle, and then loop it with the ending, and you loop it with the beginning again, and it's really it's a bit tricky. I'm not that mathematical with it. I'm never been too mathematical when creating an animation. I see other artists that, like, everything is like, if this is five frames from this other thing, from 5 frames away, like we work with keyframes, and that's pretty much, timing is like saying, all right, this is happening here, so 2 seconds, everything is sequenced. I'm not like that. I work by heart, I think. Like, sometimes, but I think that's actually what makes my work more realistic, I think, because life is not so, it's not, the beating of life is not that regular. You have, sometimes you move a hand with a speed, but the other hand goes differently, and things like that. So I think I have to try and be organic and not try to be perfect, although that's what make an animation perfect, like not being perfect. I remember this program where you can, for music, you can create a beating of like a drums beat, and then once you finish, it's MIDI, or how do you say it in English? I don't know. It's MIDI, yeah. It's perfect because it's not real. But then you can press a button that says make it real, and it makes it makes errors in the beating. It's not the same. It's not the same volume every time. Sometimes it skips like a little bit the rhythm and things like that. So that's what I think that gives it a more realistic taste.
I really like that. Trying to give it some life, which introduces some sort of like subtle imperfection, right? I think that's interesting how you kind of are open to incorporating that in your animations. Now, kind of like zooming out a little bit, we were talking about how artists, it's kind of beneficial, and creators generally, to be on as many platforms and to be able to be seen by as many people as possible. If we kind of like divide these platforms and services that creators can be on into like traditional non-crypto versus like crypto, from your perspective as a creator, it'd be interesting to hear, like, today, what are the pros and cons to a creator being on those platforms? From your perspective, what works, what's not working?
Yeah, well, in Instagram, what really works is that it's really, really trendy right now. Like, everybody has it. So I can't imagine right now. I hope that it grows a lot. I'm really new to this crypto world, so I'm not sure how many people is in there on that. But it's like the dark web and the clear web. Like, the clear web's got millions and millions of users, and the dark web doesn't have that much. So it's like, it's not that known. And it's not that easy to be spotted in crypto yet. So I guess Instagram, that's what Instagram gives you. Like pretty much everybody has Instagram. I haven't tried TikTok. I'm not that young, so but I don't think TikTok works for this. I mean, I haven't seen anybody doing things like this in TikTok. I think it's different.
Yeah,
I think Instagram has more of an artist vibe as well, and that's what gives me more 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 presence, you know. But it helps in terms of advertisement, pretty much. Like you have to be there. It ties you a little bit as well, because you have to be there. You have to post every week. Otherwise, they give you less presence, and you're not seeing that much. So you have to worry about it. I don't like that, but you have to go with it, you know. And about crypto, I love the way that people just give money away because they think you're good at what you do, and they like your work, and they just, you know, like, because I tried Patreon as well, but Patreon, people are always trying to get something from it. Like, yeah, because I mean, it's not that I'm only interested in money, you know, but it takes so much work that you have to put a lot of hours into this, and you have to get an income. So if you really want to do something you like, it's really difficult to get an income from that, and you have to, as I say, sell your souls to the companies, you know. Like, so many times I wanted to do something, I gave ideas, and the clients were just like, no, I don't like that. That doesn't go with our image or whatever. And they're all the time putting, obstacles to what you want to create and to what your mind comes with. So I believe this is the way to just give freedom to your creativity and I don't know, and make a living out of it, you know. So I'm really hoping that this gets really, really big. Like cryptocurrencies is growing. I know, because I know people who didn't know anything about it, and within the last 3-4 months, I've heard them talk about it. And even the other day, I was watching a series, and they were working with cryptocurrency as well. So it is growing, and I think it's going to be really, really cool.
We were talking about this before we started recording, but you had mentioned that after you started hopping onto Sent and Super Rare, your creator friends were like, what the hell? Like, what's going on over there in crypto world or crypto land? And I feel like that's the biggest gap right now. Like, people are starting to get interested because, the money's there, but particularly for creators that are using NFTs to tokenize their work and then sell these like digitally rare pieces of art. How do you explain that to other creators that are not yet familiar with what's happening in the creator crypto space?
Well, that's difficult. I mean, the first one I talked about this was my girlfriend, just after I talked to this guy, and I was like, you know that there's actually people who's paying for gifts in the internet, that even though you have it if you have it everywhere, it's been seen already so many times, there are people who pay for it, for having like a tokenized version of it. And she was like, you know, she didn't believe in it. She was like, I don't know, you just go for the traditional working for people, you know. And I was like, no, I kind of understand how. I mean, actually, in the end, art is. I mean, I don't want to be politically incorrect here, because people can jump at me. But apart from art, it's also a business. I mean, it doesn't. It's something you have, and it has value, and it doesn't matter how how it creates value. The only important thing is that you can create something that's unique and that has a value, and people pay for it, and that's it. So I think that's the way to explain it. Like, it works because people like to own things. People like to say, yeah, that's all around the world, but the artist sold it to me. Like, I'm the only one who has the real copy of this, you know? Because actually, if you think about it, like any painting, like my parents have Picassos in the walls. They are obviously not real, but they have like 5, you know, in the stairs way. So it's like, it's the same. I mean, everybody has a copy of my animation in Giphy. Everybody's seen it, but nobody owns it, you know? So that's kind of the difference, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like, especially that last example, using like an original Picasso versus like prints of Picasso, right? The artist only made that individual one, right? And whoever has it, but no one else can see it. Versus prints where like everyone can see the print, but it's not the artwork, right? Itself.
Exactly.
And then crypto sort of flips it on its head where everyone can see it, but we only have that one owner still, because the artist, the creator, they say that a particular file is that artwork. And because of this, the crypto technology and what we call NFTs, that's able to guarantee and provably show that ownership. And then over time, that provenance, that chronology of owners and things like that. And then the automatic money, all the other benefits of that, I think, start to become apparent after people kind of pass that conceptual chasm of, okay, a digital file can be provably rare. Because up until now, like people think about MP3s and movies, like you can just copy them and go to a torrent and then everyone can have it, right?
Yeah.
But that rarity, that digital scarcity is a totally new invention. It's an innovation that people still have to it's not people, like the whole world still needs to come to grips with and understand. So we're definitely at the very beginning of this really crazy adventure.
But I think it's really cool because at the same time, I mean, being able to have it all around the world makes it more interesting to own it, because it's like something that everybody knows. Like, all right, you can buy a painting from a guy from your city who is really good on that, but maybe there's just one copy, nobody else have seen it or anything. And but in this case, I mean, you've got a real copy of something that's been seen 30 million times. Mm-hmm. Like, it's been shared. I'm also on Tenor, which is the GIFs for WhatsApp and that. And people, I've got less there. I've been shared. Some of my animations have been shared 600 times or so. It's but you know, it's like everybody is sharing it. Everybody has it, but you are the only one who has that real copy. So I think it makes it more interesting than just having something that nobody knows. You have something that everybody knows. It's like owning an episode of I don't know, of Friends or Seinfeld. You know, I own this episode. Everybody knows it, and it's mine. You know.
Totally. It really starts to change things when you can, and because that ownership claim is actually powerful. And as anyone who like has collected anything will know, like the power, the compulsion almost to say that like I am that owner is very strong. And for creators and artists, like of course, if you're from like Western Europe or you're from the States or any of these countries, like and the big cities in those countries, like you have art markets, right? Like it's again, like it's not the most approachable scene in the world, but like there's galleries, there's curators, collectors, and you can kind of like get into that. But for the large majority of the world, like getting into that traditional art world is like impossible. It's like far away and takes too much time and money to get involved in. But with crypto art, someone with an internet connection can get into the scene can be collected by literally anyone in the world. Like, just taking an example in my own collecting case, there's an artist in Nigeria by the name of Oshinachi, and he is someone who makes art using Microsoft Word. Like, literally the program Microsoft Word, he takes, and he's been making works of art. And
I want to see that.
I'll send you the link after this. It's crazy
Right.
what he can do with Microsoft Word. And he got the attention of a few people in the crypto art world, and he just was brought onto these platforms, and he's been raising his price. He's been gaining worldwide attention, being interviewed all around the world because of this, and making money at the same time, telling people his story, showing people his work in art. And I can't imagine how else I would have come across him if it weren't for crypto art, right? And these
You wouldn't
marketplaces.
have.
Yeah, yeah. And then you kind of fast forward from that one example, 5-10 years, as more people become familiar with like the idea and concept of digital scarcity and this sort of like new art market. And then it's like, oh my God, what's about to happen? Like the revolution is kind of
Yeah.
almost in front of your eyes.
Yeah. I mean, I was shocked at the beginning, but it actually grew in me really fast. Like, when I first heard of it, I was like, I don't know, it's weird, it's just not. But then I started thinking, why not? I mean, we're going somewhere with technology, and we're like in 10 years, 20 years, maybe tops. I guess money will be just a number in your screen. You're not gonna have any paper or anything like that, and the whole world is already connected, but it's gonna be connected even more. Like, even the poorest countries in the world, where they're suffering to have a place to live or even to eat, still have connection to the internet. So it's like it's become something that's completely necessary for living, and it's kind of taking the everyday life and all of everything that's now real, taking it into internet, and that makes art goes with it, and this is the perfect way to do it.
Mm, absolutely. I love talking about this. I could go into these visions of the future for hours and hours. But I know obviously your time is precious and limited. So I want to ask you to take the time to let our listeners know what they should be looking out for from Edmotions heading into the near future. If there's any work that you're about to drop that they should be looking out for, or anything like that, let our audience know.
Yeah, well, I'm working on many things now. Like, everything happens so quickly that I'm gonna quit my job. Oh. And I'm gonna I was working. Don't tell them, because they don't know yet. But I'm quitting my job tomorrow, actually. And
congrats.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm sick of working for people. I like working on my own and doing what I like. And lately, I'm being kind of successful. I think I can do it on my own. So yeah, I've been asked for 2 different people to make full animation video clips for the music. So I'm doing 2 at the moment, like 3 minutes of animation done by myself on my own. So it's not going to be for sale, because it's actually sold already. But if you like what I do, you can just check it out, and I'll try and make you be able to reach it when it's out. I guess it come out at the end of the summer. And I'm also working in an application. I'm not sure I can talk about it, so I kind of just give you hints about it. I'm going to do animation for an app that's going to come out soon, and it mixes animation and learning, so it's really cool. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing now, and also working on my Instagram to grow, and working on my crypto art and all that. I mean, really busy right now.
Mm, that's awesome. And then actually there's one other question that I wanted to ask. If someone is going through your Instagram or Giphy page and they want the minted piece of that, like, is it okay for them to reach out to you and talk about tokenizing that? Or have you thought about how to do that? Or is it something where only you will mint what you want to mint, and people shouldn't ask for something? How do you approach that?
Yeah, they should totally ask. I mean, if somebody's interested in one of my pieces, there's always, yeah, you know, we can always get to an agreement. So yeah, pretty much, if they're not already tokenized, or they haven't been sold to anybody because they asked me to, you know, like a video clip or something like that, I'm really happy to share my work and to, you know, give it life and set it free, you know. So yeah, don't hesitate to talk to me if you like something, even if you don't want to buy anything, you just want to ask me anything about it. Yes, talk to me. For now, I'm not that famous, so I can take the time.
That's right. You quitting your job, you're about to blow up. So people, make sure you get those.
Yeah, be fast.
Messages out there. Exactly. Well, that's awesome. And Edmotions, Ed, thank you so much for your time to hop on this call.
Thank you for having me.
An absolute pleasure, and wish you nothing but the best as you make the momentous leap into individual creatorhood from tomorrow, and keep on creating.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. It's been great.
Send podcast. Send podcast. Send podcast. Send podcast.